So welcome back. Last time you have seen that we disassembled everything with now empty place. You have also seen that I put all the screws into a box. I have done this because the machine was already opened from someone and we cannot be sure that all the screws are where they belong. So in the meantime I sorted them just using a box and sorted them by size, so there are all the screws and small parts that we need. They're all here, and in the service manual we will find which screw needs to be on which panel, on which position. That will help us. What else have I done? I put some plastic on the LCDs for protection. I don't want to get any more scratches. Also, I put everything into bags. Like here, there's some plastic glass that we need, and all the metal plates. What else? And here's another box where I put all the things that to avoid, I put them in plastic bags to avoid to get too much scratches, and also protection onto the transparent plastic parts. So everything is safe here. All the sliders here and buttons. What we are going to do now is to prepare each panel that we are able to connect them and dive more into searching for the issues. Well, the first panel we're going to prepare is the supply panel. A little bit dirty. What I'm doing first is to switch to 240 volts, because by default it is 220 volts, and in Austria we do have 230 volts. When the sound machine was released in the 80s we had 220, but we switched end of the 80s to 230, and then all the voltages from the power supply were too high, because there are no voltage regulators except the 5 volt regulator here, and 12 volt is more 14 volts and so on. So everything is getting hot and stressed, and we try to avoid this. What we have seen at the beginning is, when we checked and analyzed the sound machine, that it seems that the power supply panel is fully working. There might be an issue with the microcontroller, but I think it's also 12 volts. However, to switch between 220 and 240 volts, we will have a look at the service manual, and you really need the service manual, so go and download it. I do have the original one in German. Go for the English one. The German translation is also a little bit weird, but I'm using it because there are very good quality of the pictures, of course, because it's the original. But if you download the Dutch version on the website, you will get really good scans of the circuits and the panels. And there's also the English service manual available for download, and you can read you will understand English and you can read this one. Okay, so the good thing on the service manuals is that you can fully open it, which is very helpful. So, and we can see here we, on C108 and C107, we can switch to 240 volts. So we just need to put the cable from C108 to C107, and that is what we are going to do.
For safety first, what I'm going to do now is to cover all the 230 volts wires with an isolation tape so that we do not touch anything by accident and getting an electrical shock. Be careful, there's also one bridge on the front side which has high voltage. It's marked by an lightning, and just cover this one too.
Another panel that we need to prepare is the microcontroller panel. We need to remove the shield, and I'm going to replace those two cables with pins.
Removing the cables and replacing them with a pin helps us the next time we disassemble the machine, if this ever be necessary. We do not need the solder iron then.
Well, here we are. So that was the preparation of our microcontroller panel. All those things you can see up here are undocumented. And this is the Tablet CPU and the CPU for the CD player. The interesting thing is the CD player gets its supply from the power supply, the 5 volt. The whole panel gets 12 volt and then regulated by this voltage regulator to 6 volts for the cassette deck. So it just burns 6 volts. Might be a good idea to give this little fellow some cooling. What else do we need to prepare? I'm going to remove the switches here to avoid destroying them. For this I'm using a small screwdriver and try to, that way you can see it maybe better maybe. I'm really try to get in there, to bend it a little bit, not too much. Oh my god. Maybe there's another way, an easier way. I haven't found out how. If you know it, just let me know. Post a comment and say you're completely crazy. Okay, they will go into the box as all the other parts. I've also prepared this panel here. And that's basically all we want to prepare. We are now going to connect everything. One thing I forgot, and which is very important, please do not forget to hold down the switch on here. This one is also pressed down by the power button. And if you are not using this, if you are not holding it down, nothing is working. And we are searching for issues which we will never find. The cables here, the connections here, they are protected. So they should be safe on this side. Up. Okay, the first thing, the easiest part to connect is the CD controller. For this, I am using some cables which I built just to connect those things together. So be careful. Do not switch the connection. So that's quite easy because it's placed upside here. And the CDM2 drive can be easily connected. You cannot mix them up. The large one is going in here on the controller panel. The small one here on a supply panel, and the middle one, 5 pins, is here. Okay. Perfect, isn't it? Well, one thing. The controller panel sits here, so that's always a good. It's always good if you know where the panel sits and how to connect. You put them here. For the amplifier panel, I forgot to say, it would be a good idea to use the cooling, because as I said, they're getting hot and I don't want to kill the amplifiers here. I only need to use smaller screws. So we're going to borrow some screws. Let's see if it's the same size. Yes, at the same size. We're using two smaller ones for the moment and going to replace them. Because if they are too long, they go into the other side of the aluminium plate. It's just to be sure that we do not kill anything. Oh my god. Another part which is getting very hot is the voltage regulator of the power supply panel. We need to take care about this. Well, that's now complicated a little bit. I add first the equalizer panel. That's quite easy at the moment. But what I'm going to do with this panel is to move it into the other direction. So this one needs to go in here. And we do have connector here. Yes, so be aware. Has to be placed like this, so that is the right connection, as you can see. Okay. See, we need a lot of space here. If we want to hear anything, we need to use the cassette panel and need to connect the cable here, because the phone out is needed to be able to get something out of the speakers. Then see, we are getting closer to an end, connecting the displays here. We're not going to connect the LCD background light at the moment. Should be in this position here, so we can see what's going on and what's happening. What else is missing? Well, all the switches. Okay. Well, we are not going to hear anything. That was wrong. This one goes into here. Sorry. To be able to use the CD player and check the CD player, we need two bridges that simulates the door, which is one on the power supply between 2 and 3, and one on the microcontroller, and this is, let me have a look, also 1 and 3. Almost finished. And what I'm using for the connectors, they are just a set of connectors. You can get it very cheap, and I'm just using the standard cables. We're going to connect this one here with volume here, and see that you're right. In this case it doesn't matter, we just can mix up the left and right channel. Okay, good. This one goes up to here. Be aware it is connected in this way, so I need to connect it here. So we are not going to mix it up. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Well, that should be finished. Phew. Let's see if there is any explosion or anything else. Let's have a last check. This is the background light. We do not need this at the moment. This connector goes in here for mute and Dolby B. We also do not need this connector at the moment. And this one from the tape mechanics would go in here. We also do not need it. It is to check if it's a ferro or metal cassette tape. Let's switch to the tuner. Should be here. FM. Oh my god. Nervous. We're only a switch away for blowing up the whole thing. Let's see. Whoa! Can you see what happened here?
When we first had a look at the machine, we have seen that all the segments lighted up, and it's not doing this now. So that means that the tape deck CPU might be fine.
Try to switch to CD. Let's see if the play button of the CD player is working. Oh, this was the wrong one. See? Oh, it was cassette. No. So the CPU is still not working, even if it shows the bus seem to work. It shows play. It's not playing at all, my dear. Okay. Okay, silly me, why haven't we heard anything before? Easy. The problem was I was using the left channel and the balance slider was on the right side. So, well, what should I say? I think it's time to stop here. It is working, showing the same issues as when it was assembled, but you have now access to all the panels, nice and easy. And in the next episode we will start and have a closer look to the power supply panel. We are going to replace all the capacitors. I will show you where are some possible issues.
I just want to add, if you're running out of ideas how the panels need to be connected, then let's have a look in the service manual. There's a page pointing out in numbers how they need to be connected. You might want to level the cables, makes it a little bit easier for you to connect it the right way.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Cheers!